He's in the UK. Nah, this is like when the kids finally get this shit. This is how I want them to pull up.
Yeah, but they ain't gonna. They're not gonna.
I know they're not going to, but
They should be though.
as long as they know that this is the uniform. Waxes.
The Years of Tears story. Now, Years of Tears is a clothing brand founded by SlikSyd in 2020, a year after his previous success with BySlik. Syd's road to success is a dynamic one, making him one of the most exciting characters in the game. He's gone on to build a loyal, cult-like following who've gone hard for whatever he does. In this video, I'll be taking you through that road from the fit pics to BySlik to Years of Tears and beyond. Now, this is going to be a long video, so sit back, relax, and enjoy.
I'm the real bean man. I was eating my beans.
That's the bean man.
Firstly, let's talk about Syd himself. Syd is a young man from the UK in his early 20s. He came over with his mum from Zimbabwe speaking no English. Syd's mum brought him to the UK with him, which is normally against the Zimbabwean tradition, as in Zimbabwe they're more accustomed to leaving their child behind. This formed part of Syd's motivation and ambition to do everything he can to repay his mum. She told Syd, do whatever you want to do, and that gave Syd the green light to chase everything he wanted to do. He was balancing BySlik with uni studying fashion PR and generally believes in education opposed to being a college dropout. He advised people to pick subjects that relate to exactly what they want to do so that their overall life becomes more peaceful. Syd first got into streetwear after seeing a guy in school wearing Oswego's and a Babe Shark hoodie. After initially telling him that his Oswego's were dead, he then went on to research them to try copying for himself. He actually thought they were good, he just doesn't like people thinking that he's copying them. The same happened with the Babe hoodie, in which he asked what brand the guy was wearing. He then went and researched everything about Babe so that the next day he came prepared knowing everything about the brand. He liked Babe's big and bold designs. This was important to him because at the time he was one of the shortest among his peers, so he wanted to find a way to stand out. While this style felt natural to him, it also kind of left him isolated because the area where he was from was very out of the box to dress like that, so his style garnered a lot of attention. But at the same time, it allowed him to influence others, and surely enough, people started dressing like him. From there, his interest in streetwear just grew, helping him get to where he is today. It also led him to discover Billionaire Boys Club, another one of his favourite brands at the time, for similar reasons. He thought the brands go hand in hand. He wants the same effect with both brands, BySlik and Years of Tears. His interest in the brand BBC peaked when he saw Pharrell wearing it and discovered their skate team, Ice Cream. Syd's relentless curiosity for wanting deeper knowledge on topics is what continuously allowed him to discover more brands and understand the streetwear world. Streetwear also got him into skating, which led him to discover Supreme and Fucking Awesome. His will to learn can also be seen in his work, as he has rapidly developed his craft in a short space of time. I think many people overlook the levels of the jump between BySlik to Years of Tears. Syd went on to showcase his style on Instagram, which helped him build a good audience. His style was unique at the time, and while he doesn't like that term, a lot of people refer to this style as the Y2K aesthetic. Now, I don't like the term either, but his style was very bold and colourful, filled with baggy silhouettes and a clear influence of Japanese fashion. Today he has a darker, more gothic, more punk style. The brands that he wears goes from Vivienne Westwood, A-Leagues and Givenchy. More on that later. Syd was accustomed to posting fit pics on Instagram, but I felt there was something more out there for him. He felt like the next big step was to launch a clothing brand. He's a strong believer in designing for yourself instead of others. This makes sense because Syd would often try to look for stuff that he couldn't find. He loved denim. It was one of the first pieces he officially dropped. After reflecting on it, he realised that it was actually his country's national fabric. When starting a brand, the basic thing that people start with is a tee or a hoodie. However, Syd felt that was too easy and hard at the same time, as he generally doesn't like tees. He sticks to wearing plain and simple tees, but as a child he was introduced to denim, so that's all he knew and wore. So for him, denim was an easy starting point for him to start designing. His design process comes from simply living and showering. While the thinking aspect is the hardest bit for him, digitizing it into design comes easy to him. It's important to note that the first piece he designed was actually a phone case. However, the denim was the first piece of clothing he designed and actually went on to release. Syd isn't a fan of gatekeeping and likes to give credit where it's due, whether it's credit to design references or what his friends are doing. He doesn't like taking people's shine and would rather give people the platform by fucking with them. From there, they can then build their own platform with their own personal fan base. He also feels it's dishonorable not giving credit to inspirations. Syd also produces music videos, having shot, directed and edited them for his friends Lancey Fouxx and Fimi Guerrero. More on them later. So now we move on to his first brand, BySlik. His first pieces included a praying skeleton printed across 2 legs with a skull printed on both back pockets. Further designs experimented with colours, different images and print placements. He even dropped rugs and joggers. This design was inspired when he was in a biology class in school where he saw a praying skeleton in a book. He went home to design it on denim, however, didn't get them produced for 3 to 4 months as he felt something was missing. This led him to coming up with a back pocket print. Part of the process that inspired this move was the Billionaire Boys Club running dog jeans. On the 8th September 2019, BySlik dropped. These were the signature Dead Prayer jeans, retailing for £75. You had to sign up for the password, which dropped at 6:30. By 6:45, everything sold out. He then dropped more 15 minutes later at 7, and they again sold out in 15 minutes. Syd described this as the craziest day of his life, as it was very life-changing for him. He watched everything sell with his mum. She didn't understand how it was happening, and as she was in disbelief, he simply explained, "This is what I've been working on all this time." He reached out to Lil Baby saying, "Yo, you're in London." He then blessed Lil Baby with a pair who showed love to them and reshared the pair to his story. At the time, he was around 2K, so loads of traffic coming over to his page. Lil Baby was in London at the time for a show and went on to record music with DBE. Syd then ended up seeing Trippie Redd in them, even though they didn't even start selling them. Syd has mentioned his business partner did him wrong, however this clearly didn't stop him, as we're now about to discover the Years of Tears story. As Syd matured and his style and interest developed, Years of Tears was born. This brand has a more personal story, plus a darker aesthetic that represents the punk scene. Now, this is very significant to note as the punk aesthetic made a resurgence around that time. Brands such as Rick Owens propelled this move. Of course, we have to mention Syd's inspirations such as Vivienne Westwood, A-Leaks and Givenchy. Carti and Holo Red, his Opium artists and various other rappers using the iconic rage beats also helped propel this aesthetic. Social media went crazy with memes, TikTok sounds and a new wave of fit pics. But we're not here to talk about that, maybe in another video. Moving back to Years of Tears, it first launched on the 1st of November 2020. Syd's first collection was based on a TV show called Forever Night, which resembled Vampire Diaries. This blossomed his interest in vampires, bats, wolves, full moons and the entire aesthetic overall. He again turned to the running dog design as inspiration and intended to use a wolf instead. After finding out it was a bit too similar to the dog, he then used an upside down bat which he fully owns. These were the Flying Bat Selvage denim jeans, retailing for £100. When you break down the name, Year stands for all the years of hardship he and his family had to endure, from little food, little money, rough sleeping situations, and issues with transport. Tears stand for the tears of joy after he's generally overcome this phase of his life. Today, Years of Tears pieces consist of leather, oversized silhouettes with bats, asterisks, and ospat being embedded over pieces. What's significant to note is that Syd has mastered the art of detailing, with every piece seeming to have details he can't miss out on. The leather sets are arguably his most iconic designs, retailing anywhere from £300 to £600. Syd has also mentioned how he wants to use less logos in upcoming collections. Sure enough, we did get a plain leather set. It'll be interesting to see what more logo-less pieces he'll be coming out with. Now, his leather sets have come in a myriad of colours. I personally think that the rusty yellow is the best one, but let me know what you think below. The white and blue is also one piece worth mentioning and was inspired by a Fubu jacket. One piece that we absolutely cannot forget is the leather gillet, and yes, I say gillet because I think it sounds better than gilet. But anyway, now this is a piece that's much beloved by the Years of Tears audience. When Syd originally posted these on his personal page, people went crazy for it. The padded down leather vest featured a quarter zip, a collar with bullet ribbing, bat tealing around the vest, and of course the upside down bat embroidered on the back. After posting these, Syd actually realised they were manufactured wrongly, and he ended up disliking the design, which is probably why we never got it. That being said, we can still have hope for it to drop, as Syd explained that he's revising the piece until he's happy with it. He generally doesn't like putting ideas to bed and learned that after doing that with the bat jeans. There's actually more history to the piece. Syd gave away the gillet to a friend. After falling out with him, his friend went on to try sell the vest for £400 to £500 after failing to sell it for an original price of £1,200. It then turned out that the guy never actually shipped the item when he was finally able to sell it. However, the gillet was eventually bought by someone in the Years of Tears Discord. While it's unclear who his ex-friend was, Syd was not fond of the situation, telling the guy he had no honour. Staying on the topic of shady business, Syd does have copycats. This is actually something Syd is calm with and supports. On AliExpress, you can get a pair of fake BySlik x Years of Tears denim jeans. It features Michael Myers' back pocket prints and a back print on the crotch. The surprising fact was that Years of Tears was actually his original idea before BySlik. He had the aesthetic and designs when he was about 15, but never felt comfortable in that style until he grew into it. It also seems like Years of Tears was actually first called OSBAT, and if you didn't know what OSBAT stands for, I'll let the man himself say it.
What's OSBAT mean? On some bullshit all the time.
When his first samples came in, he hated how they looked, but after he wore them, he realised it all came out better than he designed. Now, Years of Tears has been a big challenge for Syd, with him talking about quitting at times with his friend Bami. However, this is something that Syd has now managed to keep going with. The difference compared to BySlik was going from design to product, purely because of all the complexities involved. One example is the OSBAT tee. He described it as one of the hardest pieces to create. We've already established that he doesn't like tees, so when it came to designing it, he was trying too hard with it. He eventually had to simplify that process and reflect with questions before he concluded with the tee's design. While Syd was used to brainstorming designs in his mind, he also went 3 months without designing anything. However, this phase of his life allowed him to refresh his mind and get creative again. He bounced back with leather trousers that had a metal tag on the back of the jeans. This was inspired by a dog collar and a few of Weaving Westwood designs. While BySlik has mass appeal, Years of Tears was the opposite. The pieces were more niche and for people who knew what it stood for and knew how to wear it. When you niche down your brand to an aesthetic, people go hard for it. It's evident as Syd often refers to his audience as cult due to their crazy antics and support. He also refers to his audience and movement as the Black Flag Militia. Syd used BySlik as an experiment for Years of Tears, proving to him that he can do anything. He sampled pretty much every piece of clothing with both brands, but compared to BySlik, Years of Tears has more refined and high-end stuff. With Years of Tears, it's something that he wants to be known for. He's grown out of his design phase and doesn't want that to be his image anymore. Years of Tears is his channel to show the world he can do anything. Syd calls the brand a life as opposed to a brand. This can be seen with videos and editorials being uploaded to his several YouTube channels, as well as his plans to extend into other creative ventures such as music videos. When starting Years of Tears, Syd came with a strong self-belief as he thought if you can do something once, you can do it again. He put everything into Years of Tears to make it work, however it was still difficult for him. Apart from the fact that his old business partner told him it wasn't going to work, it was also mid-COVID when he started, so there was a lot of uncertainty. That being said, everyone was at home on their phones. This gave him the assurance that he could get the eyeballs he needed. Years of Tears really birthed from the pandemic as Syd needed something new from the repetitive lifestyle he was living in the lockdown. The Years of Tears page is mainly used to announce drops, whereas his personal page usually previews these drops. If you take a look at the Years of Tears Instagram page, the colours are very muted, almost black and white. This is meant to resemble the bat's vision as bats are usually colourblind.
10V touring. A bit French. Where are we? Where are we? Madrid. I told you we're in Madrid, fam.
From the get-go, you'll often see them referred to 10V. If you didn't know, 10V stands for 10 vibes. This is a term Syd made up based on an Instagram story he uploaded, captioned 10V, when listening to a song in a car. 10V is essentially like a reference to a collection of brothers and sisters. Now, who are we referring to when we say 10V in relevance to Syd? Now, first we have Bams, or Bami. He also has his own brand called Angeles. Bami is one of Syd's closest friends, with the pair having manifested a lot of words and dreams and conversations. Now, we also have Josh Rossiter, who I believe may be a model. Either way, he's always rocking several brands in his fit pics, including Angeles and Years of Tears. I can't talk about Josh without mentioning Sora. These two are like a duo. Sora has uploaded a lot of vlog style videos of what he and the whole circle get up to. Syd describes his relationship with the duo like Ian and Carti or Yams and Rocky. Then we have Fimi Guerrero, a young and upcoming music artist also associated with them. Fimi signed to 10V in the summer of 2020. I think it's a possibility that a few of his friends do some sort of managerial work for Fimi with the record label. My guess would be that Syd and Bami do some of that work. We also have Velli. Now, Velli is a photographer and videographer. His portfolio can be seen on his Instagram. He's also made edits, videos for Fimi and Lancey at shows, and produced music videos for both of them. I believe he's made a couple vlogs with everyone overall as well. Now, last but not least, we have Lancey Fouxx. Lance has been a long-time friend of Syd and is one of the hottest rising talents out of the UK, bridging into the American music scene. He already knew of Syd and looked up to the group before even Syd reached out.
Still in Madrid, man.
Like,
Obviously, Madrid's hitting, man. You know what I'm saying? Look at the sun. Look at the shine, man.
Syd has a very good relationship with Matthew Williams, creative director of Givenchy and founder of SlikSyd. After reaching out one time, he and Matthew developed a relationship from there. Syd has spoken about how Matthew keeps tapped in with his life by engaging with his pages. Matthew even gifted Syd a few pieces from Givenchy and SlikSyd on Syd's birthday. Now, don't quote me on this, but I think Syd got a personal invite to Milan for Fashion Week by Matthew as well. At the show, he was able to meet Lancey and Destroy Lonely. Syd actually reached out to Lancey in LA with a simple yo. Lancey fucked with Syd straight away, wasting no time in reaching back out. Their relationship evidently developed from there on. I believe Syd even made a custom piece for Lancey. Syd has also spoken to Imran before. This made Syd realize you don't need huge accolades to message people that you think are out of your reach. Another music artist who rocked with Years of Tears was Central C. At the time of this video, Central C is still the hottest UK artist and arguably the artist of 2022. Now, Central C has rocked with Years of Tears since the beginning, having hit up Syd. Unfortunately for Syd, he never saw the message until a year later. It's clear to see that he's tapped in, as he was recently spotted in the Years of Tears logoless leather set, and he's even repped Angeles on the red carpet. Syd also linked up with Cheeto to get his office tatted. He also did custom work on one of Syd's Givenchy bags. Syd has also made a collab with artist Derson for his brand Picavi, and he's gained recognition from Quengface, another UK music artist. Now, Syd himself is also very tapped in, stating that he has a piece from every single London brand. He buys from brands with his fake name, Cornelius Birkin, which is also his Twitter hat. You're probably now thinking about Cortez, and yes, he actually has a piece from them too. Syd and Clint actually linked up a few months ago. In addition, Syd had some good things to say about Clint.
Gee, especially that one there.
Yeah.
That is a black man, bro. Like,
yeah.
He is doing.
He's doing his shit, bro.
He's doing
Fuck
big,
me.
like, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing to see. Anyone that has any negative thing to say, it's either A, they want that and they can't have that, or B, they actually just don't like it.
Lastly, Syd has even gained the attention of Floyd Mayweather. He knew Mayweather's son, but didn't know Mayweather knew him, so he was shocked when he and the security were calling his name in Selfridges.
Listen, the man them just shut down Bermondsey, bro. Ain't no one else going like that. Bermondsey, that's the white people areas, bro. That's Southwark. We're not even allowed to be there. Locked off.
Now, when it comes to marketing, the best description I can give you is carty. Stay mysterious, drop scarcely, and preview unreleased pieces. The only time the Years of Tears Instagram page is active is when they're dropping. No ads, no influencer marketing, no real major marketing campaigns. It's all organic marketing where people go out of their way to create that hype. This brand essentially gets round through word of mouth. Mystery just evokes curiosity. The reason you're watching this video right now is because you want to know more about Years of Tears. Mystery just keeps you hooked, not to mention the niche audience that the brand targets. Syd teases the audience by previewing unreleased pieces. He also uses his story to show designs and him at manufacturing factories. Part of what's formed his loyal orders is the Discord. The only way to get in is through an invite, but with a bit of snooping you can find yourself the link too. Syd has even created exclusive drops just for the Discord, with early access and exclusive pieces also being available to them. The Discord is one of the most active Discords I'm in, so the love is definitely real. Lastly, for marketing, it's important to note that before Years of Tears is launched, Syd actually had an in-person event where he gave away old BySlik clothes. This was the time when he was changing his whole image and swag. He wanted to bring out a face to the brand in real life, rather than just being online. The event took place in Bermondsey, London. He posted the location the day before and didn't expect many people to turn up. Eventually, around 300 people turned up, with some even coming 3 hours early and some from outside London. It caused people to fight over the clothes that Syd threw, neighbours to peer out their windows and police to turn up. Now, in the aftermath, Syd actually messed up the driver's car, but he ended up being cool with it. Syd paid off the driver and even blessed the driver's son with some pieces. This location was near Tower Bridge, so it's hard to pull off an event like that there. However, he was quoted saying, "If this is somewhere you don't want us to be, I'm going to make sure we're there." The whole event motivated him, but also kept him humble, which is a virtue he highly values, especially as he gained notoriety. After taking everything in at the location, he went on to shoot a music video and design more pieces while being full of endorphins. He also realized how real everything is, as he was just used to seeing numbers on the screen. Having an event allowed him to materialize all of the support. Now, I have no doubt that Years of Tears will be in the game for years. The aesthetic and the overall way the brand has come together makes for something long lasting, and it definitely has a place in the industry. Not to mention it's a breath of fresh air from your typical UK brands. Syd aims to do runway shows, get his mum a house, and get a penthouse in the future, something that he's often talked about with Bammy. He also wants to go in-house with production, similar to Babe. Essentially, he wants to make Years of Tears 4 Years of Tears. Some future pieces to look forward to: a potential collab with House of Errors, hopefully a Givenchy collab like Sid Aspires, a hooded Years of Tears mesh top, the back chain currently exclusive to only him, a wedding dress for his wife, and maybe even music. Who knows?
Go disturb Lance and Fimi. Me and Fimi have a crazy album. Me and Lance have a crazy album. Go disturb them for it.
Syd has his eyes set on making Years of Tears a movement rather than just a brand. He wants to expand on his music videos, editorials, and cinematography, almost creating something like a cult classic. He wants people to use Years of Tears as a symbol of being yourself, and in hopes to hold similar respect to the word anarchy. With this movement, Syd will look to support the next wave of talent, whether it's Fimi, people from the Discord, or others. Syd just wants to be tapped in. Now, we've almost come to the end of the video, meaning we break down what we can learn and take away. Firstly, shoot your shot. Don't be scared to reach out to people you want to get in contact with, no matter how big. Now, of course, make sure your page looks good and is set up well. No one is going to collab with someone who has no pictures on their page. Show the world your talent, but also stay determined. Secondly, niche first, mystery later. If you want a cult-like audience of loyal supporters, find a niche you want to target, preferably one that's small and polarizing. My niche is underground fashion. Once you build a decent following, then you can instill the mystery, if you want. This is what Syd did, whether it was purposely or not. You don't want to act too mysterious from the start, as you kind of have to make a name for yourself. It's difficult to do that when you're a new brand. Now, there's a lot more lessons that we can take, but I decided I'd leave the last one for the man himself. Syd believes in staying true to yourself and being unapologetic like Virgil. If Virgil stepped into LV trying to be something he's not, he probably wouldn't have worked out as well, because that's not him, and LV signed him for him. Also, don't have expectation for things. Instead, have hopes. Things won't always go your way, but there could be better opportunities for you out there. Now, that's the end of the video. I thoroughly hope that you enjoyed it. It was a mission piecing all of this information together, so all support is appreciated. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this, and also don't forget to follow our Instagram page. What do you think of Syd, the brand, 10V, anything? Let me know in the comments below. Let's have a discussion. This was the Years of Tears story.
You lot, I swear down, bro. You lot came out for man today. You lot are the fucking hardest out here, bro. Fucking waviest lot I've ever seen in my life, bro. Shit, with the year that we've had, yeah, this is the best way to start a new one. I'm dying out here right now as well. Where's Fimi? That's the hardest artist in the fucking world.
Come on, G.
Where's Ben?
He's in the car.
Where are all the guys? All the guys. See these lot right here, bro. This shit isn't possible without these lot. I don't even exist without these lot. You lot really help me with everything I do. I know I say it all the time. I fucking love you lot. I really mean it. I really mean it, bro. You lot changed my fucking life, bro. Man, them don't understand. Man, them don't understand. But anyways, on to the next one.